We're back now with the latest on the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Opening arguments will begin today in the trial of Stewart Rhodes, the leader of the Oath Keepers, along with 4 other members of the right-wing militia group.
Yeah, they're facing charges of seditious conspiracy for their involvement in the attack on the Capitol, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years behind bars if convicted. NBC News Justice reporter Reilly is here to break down the trial for us, along with NBC News legal analyst Cevallos. Good morning to you both. Always great to have you with us. Ryan, I'll start with you just for some context here on this trial and tell us what should we expect to hear from prosecution today.
Yeah, so this is definitely DOJ's biggest challenge thus far, certainly the most serious charges they've brought against the largest number of defendants that's gone to trial. You know, you sit through a lot of these cases and sometimes you wonder why they actually went to trial, because the facts are just so stacked against a lot of these previous defendants. And, you know, in jury trials, DOJ has a flawless record, batting 1,000 for all of these cases. So you sometimes wonder why, you know, they necessarily went to trial given the overwhelming evidence against them and the clear evidence of crimes. In this trial, I do think there's actually a little bit of mystery here. I don't think that there's as much solid evidence in terms of what DOJ has put forward publicly thus far that shows there was a pre-coordinated attack, plan to attack the Capitol. Rather, it seems like there was basically this plan, which is what the Oath Keepers are going to argue, is that they're essentially a militia on standby. Now, that's sort of a novel argument, of course. Essentially, you're arguing that you were preparing for it, you did a lot of preparations for the bank robbery, but you didn't necessarily go through with it, even though you're standing right outside the bank. But that's what essentially they're going to be arguing here and saying that, listen, they had this bizarre legal theory based on the idea that Trump could invoke the Insurrection Act, and they didn't actually move forward with this. And Stewart Rhodes is going to be arguing that those 2 stacks that did enter the Capitol building did not do so at his direction.
Well, Danny, what will you be watching for from the Oath Keepers attorneys, and what do you think they'll be trying to show the jury?
Exactly that. I mean, the elements of any defense here are that conspiracy is an incomplete crime. In other words, Rhodes would argue, and the other defendants, that we didn't agree. And the objective you said was part of our unlawful agreement. That wasn't our objective. Our objective instead was a lawful one. And any time you charge someone for being a kind of ringleader who didn't actually commit the crime, the government knows that even with those favorable federal statutes that criminalize an expansive list of conduct, they have to prove the agreement and the specific unlawful objective. And that's what Rhodes's defense is going to capitalize on.
Ryan, what kind of role do you think the former president is going to play in this trial? Do you expect the prosecution or defense to incorporate former President Trump's actions surrounding the attack on the Capitol into their arguments in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a major part of this, because they're going to argue essentially that the Oath Keepers are going to argue essentially that they were waiting on word from Donald Trump to take any action. And that's why they kept all of these weapons in Virginia, because they were trying to obey the law and would only bring those weapons into D.C., which has strict gun laws, if told to do so or by the president of the United States. One moment I'm really looking for here, there's a cooperating individual in this case, one of 3 Oath Keepers who was pleaded guilty to seditious conspiracy, who has already told the court that he was in the room with Stewart Rhodes on the night of January 6th, as Stewart Rhodes was talking to this Trump intermediary, an unidentified person who we haven't learned who is exactly yet. But they essentially were telling this person that that Trump needed to call them upon them and step up, and they could step in and sort of help him retain power. He repeatedly implored this individual to directly connect him, Rhodes, with Donald Trump, but he never actually got through, and apparently that person denied that request. So that's, I think, some dramatic testimony we'll be expecting as this trial folds out here under the next 5 weeks.
Another mystery there. And Danny, let's talk about the January 6th committee. Should they be paying attention to what happens in this trial, and what kind of effect could this have on the next public hearing?
Of course, they'll be paying attention. And in a sense, each of these, the prosecution and then the committee hearings, they kind of build on each other as each listens intently for new evidence and new avenues in which to seek out evidence. But make no mistake about it, January 6th committee is splashy, they're interesting, compelling drama, but they have a tiny fraction of the investigative ability that the DOJ has in conducting their criminal investigations, including grand jury subpoenas, search warrants, all kinds of things the January 6th committee kind of has, but on no level even close to the DOJ. The DOJ is the real show here in prosecuting January 6th conduct. The committee is certainly interesting. It's important for American history, but in terms of devastating effectiveness, no one tops the U.S. DOJ.
Great distinction there. Danny Cevallos and Ryan Reilly, as always, thank you for joining us. Thanks for your reporting.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.